All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope you don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 72 of the KissFAQ podcast. I was supposed to have the day off today, but I don't. So thanks a lot, Gene.
You volunteered.
Joining me today, there is no Marcus Almighty. Mark, how you out there? We've got Alex, BagBoy, and Ken, 69th Blizzard, and St. Louis Kiss, Lonnie. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to see you all. So I've just kind of given away what we're going to start off with. I guess we don't have any choice. It's Thursday the 12th, and everything's still fresh on the press. With Gene and his mouth and his foot, I guess, would be the way to go. So he's made some comments in a recent interview with Newsweek that have gone down very poorly. But I'd just like to step us back for a minute and play what he said on CNN on, when was it, April the 24th after Prince passed. Just going to play that clip, and when I do put the show together, I will replace it with a nicer copy.
Very few people know who Prince really was off stage, a very private, shy man. I got to see him a little bit off stage, but I can't really say I knew him all that well. I don't know that many people did. All the way to the end, he was a very private person. Again, lived in Minneapolis from the beginning until the end. And one more thing that I want to say about his humanism, that very few people know that during his concert tours, he asked his fans, if you bought tickets to a Prince concert, I want you to bring canned goods and contribute to those less advantaged. Come on. That's cooler than any rock star that gets up on stage and says, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
This is a unique guy, and it would be a crime if the next generation of 14-year-olds don't look up and say, you know what, that's who I've got to emulate, instead of the modern sort of pop artists who have producers in back of them. Remember, it's a guy who wrote, produced, arranged, engineered, did it all.
So that's like a really, really great Gene on spot, on form, eloquent, classy, direct, non-controversial. Controversial. Really, really cool. And he probably should have left it at that and not spoken again on the matter. We obviously start getting a lot of the details of Prince's death starting to emerge, mainly through innuendo and rumor and an unquoted spokesperson who can't be named, sort of saying this and that, with toxicology reports not yet even being released or probably even completed from Prince's autopsy to know what his cause of death were. However, things are starting to point to him having issues with what sounds like painkillers, opiates of some description, to deal with pain. And as anyone who suffers from pain, I actually have to go to England every now and then so I can get painkillers, for my back pain, because my lower three vertebrae are crushed. And in America, they won't do anything to help you. So I know all about pain. I believe Paul Stanley knows quite a bit about pain as well, having had hip problems. The problem is in an interview with Newsweek, Gene made the following comment. I'm just going to read this out. It's, Bowie was the most tragic of all because it was real sickness. All the other ones were a choice. Prince's drugs killed him. What do you think? He died from a cold? But how pathetic that he killed himself. Don't kid yourself. That's what he did. Slowly, I grant you. But that's what drugs and alcohol is, a slow death. Now, to those of us who've heard Gene, have heard him pontificate on the matter, he does not agree with drugs and alcohol in any way. That's no shock to Kiss fans. It's a crass statement. But I'm going to go out and be devil's advocate. We don't know what the original quote is either. This is in print. It could be pasted together. It may not be one flowing thing. It can be little pieces put together in a structure to suit the journalist's need. It could be exactly verbatim what he said. Who knows? What I'm simply putting out there is we don't know for certain. That's exactly what he said. We don't know the context of the questions. So, he's inflexible. What follows after that is basically hellaciously entertaining for people who like to watch car crashes. You have Gene saying that he's been shouted at by his family. You then have, which way does this go? Paul Stanley apologizing, embarrassed by cold, clueless statements regarding Prince's death without all the facts. Better to say nothing. My apologies. Okay, that's fair enough. That's not exactly Paul Stanley flying off the handle. And I mentioned it to the guys beforehand that I know firsthand of Paul Stanley flying off the handle. That is not Paul Stanley flying off the handle. That, I think, is quite a reasonable thing for a business partner to say, protecting Paul Stanley's interest in the business of Kiss, of which I assume he is a 50% stakeholder. Mm-hmm. And then Gene walks back his comments. He owns it. He says, he got shit from his family. He didn't say things the way he should have. As you would expect a decent human being. Gene is, I believe, a decent human being. Walks it back. And then Shannon gets involved. So let's pick it up from there, guys, because I don't want to just go through reading all these quotes until I have to, while you sit there looking bored and I need a drink. Let's get your impressions.
Why do you hate me, Julian?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex,
yeah.
Go. What's your thoughts on this?
I've always gone by with, sometimes things are better left unsaid. Whether it's true or not, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think that's what I kind of get slightly irritated. I'm sure I'm going to probably offend people now because I'm saying it. But you know what? You choose to be offended. But in reality, everybody has their opinions, and Gene has his, and rightfully so. He's allowed to have his opinion on alcohol and drugs. He's experienced, the tragic effects of it with those close to him. Again, sometimes things are better left unsaid, even if it is true. I think, people should, for one, it's Gene Simmons too, take it for a grain of salt. I mean, how many times has his mouth kind of gotten him in trouble? So I don't think, everybody should be ridiculously upset at the same time. And, it's a tragedy Prince died. It's funny. I was kind of confessing on myself. I was listening to Sexy MF when I got a text from my friend saying that Prince died. I think it's one of the great Prince songs. But, and it's a tragedy in itself, and obviously people need time to grieve. I think everybody needs to kind of put their emotions in check and realize that, again, everybody's allowed to say what they want, say how they feel. And again, be mindful. I don't think Paul was wrong with coming out, and saying that. Again, he's, it's a business too. He's trying to protect himself, protect what he has, and like you said, Julian, with Kiss. They've got a tour coming up, and if you've got the press, I saw yesterday on Yahoo, when I was on my iPad in between classes, and one of the headlines was about Gene Simmons making the comments of Prince. So if that's going to affect ticket sales, that affects, per se, what Paul Stanley gets to take home to the family as a breadwinner. So I could see why Paul wanted to protect himself. Granted, he probably gets really good bread because he gets a really good paycheck, but,
Did they mention the tour in the articles or anything that you've seen on it? I haven't read. I don't read a lot of press these days, so
I haven't seen anything. But
fail.
Yeah.
Ken, what's your take?
Well, like Alex said, some things are better left unsaid. But having said that, I know probably Shannon and whoever else in his family, went back to Gene and like, why did you even do that? I would have rather have had Paul not say anything, apologize for Gene. I would have rather had him call up Gene and tell him, you need to apologize. And that same apology or, that Gene did would have come out. I don't think he needed to, even though, he hasn't done it on other things, Paul, like that, where he's apologized for Gene's. Like, I think Gene said something about Michael Jackson, I think going way back, right? Things like that. And that hurt Kiss, too, because I think at that time, Kiss was going to maybe be on some Michael Jackson tribute thing with the Jackson family, and that just totally nixed any kind of Jackson relationship there, or working together. So, yeah, and I guess Paul Stanley doing that thing, and then now Shannon has thrown her,
her 20 cents.
Her 20 cents into the thing, and it's just kind of gotten into like they're calling a cat fight. But I think, he needs to watch his comments. He needs to keep it like the very first comment where he was talking about the death of Prince, and leave it at that. No, don't go back on it. There's people that are, they may die of drugs and get addicted to drugs, but it's not on purpose. I mean, painkillers where I think Prince had a hip replacement, right, in 2010 or something. You can get addicted to those things, and he doesn't maybe know he's addicted to them, but he is addicted to them. Like it goes back to Elvis and when he was addicted to, waking up and going to sleep at night and that sort of thing, those kind of pills. So, I just think you got to leave it. Just put it aside and just, let the experts talk about, drugs and what they can do to you and how you can become addicted and how those things can, really mess up your life. But, if you're not an expert in it, don't say anything.
Here's the thing that really bothers me, and you touched on it, saying that Paul should have called Gene. Well, Ace Frehley tried to call Gene, and Gene doesn't pick up apparently. So maybe he doesn't pick up for Paul either. That's the problem. I totally agree with you, Ken, that it really should have been Paul, quiet word with Gene. However, what I have noticed from Paul, especially over the last 5 to 7 years, is that Paul almost seems to take a certain amount of glee in needling Gene. And calling him out publicly and kind of casting a sort of derogatory feeling on things that Gene says. Yeah, Gene says a lot of stupid stuff. We're human. We all do. If we go back and listen to a lot of the shows that we've recorded as a group, or I'm sure that we'll find things like, and we'll say, I can't believe I said that, and it's just part of the human condition, and off the cuff comments can easily be taken the wrong way or delivered completely the wrong way. The one thing I want to stress with Gene is I don't think there was any malicious intent in his comments. It's just Gene being Gene. Lonnie, I've kept you waiting, so jump in.
You said exactly what I was going to say, Julian. It's Gene being Gene. I mean, I read those comments of what Gene said, and I just kind of rolled my eyes and kept scrolling on my phone when I saw them. Because it's like, whatever. I kind of expected, you almost expected out of Gene to say something stupid like that. I mean, how many times has Gene, Ken, you mentioned the Michael Jackson thing. I mean, how many times has Gene said something, putting his foot in his mouth, and like, you know what, that's just Gene being Gene. And, he's gonna overstate what he really means probably. And, and because he's Gene Simmons, it gets blown up and it gets blown out of context too. And in reality too, if I'm Paul Stanley, you know what, if you just leave it alone, it goes away. Because someone else is going to offend someone in an hour or so. Because God knows the worst thing you can do in this country is offend someone. So I think if I'm Paul Stanley, I just leave it alone. And if I'm Paul Stanley, I kind of treat it the way I did and just say, that's just Gene being Gene. Just leave it alone. And in a day or two, it'll go away because someone else is going to say something tomorrow or something else is going to happen tomorrow. And then that'll be the big scandal of the day. So just leave it alone. But instead of, and maybe he did try to call Gene and say, hey, you need to apologize for that if Paul got all bent out of shape about it. And maybe Gene didn't pick up because he didn't pick up for Ace, so why would he pick up for Paul? And,
I'm sorry, that just sounds really good,
So he goes, so Paul takes it upon himself to say, well, I'm going to apologize to Gene to protect my interest. But is Gene making those comments going to affect ticket sales this summer? No. I don't know. People are going to go see Kiss anyway, whether Gene makes a comment about Prince or not.
I think the circles of the demographics are pretty much good enough that Gene's safe. Kiss is safe from, there aren't going to be Prince fans picketing.
No, I don't think there'll be protests outside of Springfield, Missouri because Gene said something about Prince. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's going to hurt ticket sales in any way, shape, or form either. These shows are already going on sale. And the tour starts in a couple months, but like I said, it's going to blow over anyway. When people go think about what shows am I going to go see this summer, well, I'm not going to go see Kiss because Gene said that about Prince, so I'm not going to go see Kiss. Come on, that's not going to happen. So why Paul Stanley needs to take it upon himself to I don't know, you know what I mean, to stop the bleeding or whatever, and then Shannon has to, like you said, Julian, Shannon has to throw her 20 cents in there too, and it just goes on to be a Twitter war of millionaires fighting with each other, and it was kind of pathetic yesterday in my opinion, those two going back and forth. So
yeah, Shannon Tweed, I respect her. Simple as that. I don't know her personally. I've never met her. I've never bought a Playboy magazine. Simple as that. Or watched any of her movies. I've seen her on Family Jewels. I really have nothing but respect for her. She seems perfectly fine as a person, and she's sticking up for her man, and that's the part I kind of like. In this, it is, Shannon is, getting in there and defending Gene's right to make himself look bad. As a non-American, I've got to say that for a country that professes to worship the freedom of speech, there sure are a hell of a lot of Americans who get butthurt when Americans exercise that right. And by the way,
worst thing you can do.
And by the way, for the Americans who have not read their own damn Constitution, it's not freedom of speech to say anything you want. It is that Congress shall not make laws that abridge your right to say what you want. So read your Constitution, number one, and learn it, and then quote it. And I've totally misquoted it, but you know what? I'm a foreigner. I can misquote your Constitution all I want. But the essence is not that you get to say.
American and you can do what you want.
Yeah, I've lived here.
You've lived here too long. You have the attitude of I can do what I want.
But that's the point. That it's not that you can say anything you want, because obviously, if that was the case, there'd be no such thing as libel, or the other one. I can never remember what it is. Slander. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because if you have freedom of speech, it's just that the government will not stop you from exercising that right. And Gene certainly has never shied away from exercising that right, and neither has Shannon. But I think when we get into some of the stuff that she accuses Paul of throwing Gene under the bus, and I can just see Paul, I can see him start to twitch when he's reading that.
God.
That bicep of his was probably throbbing, and I was wondering if he's taking some painkillers for the the bicep tear.
Oh, yeah.
So this hits home close. Sorry, Paul. I'm not making light of his injury, obviously, with that little quip there, but he's had hip pains. He's been through a lot of similar things to Prince as an entertainer who's worked his body on stage, and it has worn out on him, whereas you got to say, Gene, since about 77, hasn't exactly been doing the crab walk or any of that shit that he used to do in the early days that frequently. I mean, maybe his pelvis was tired from other activities, so... Yeah, last week, what was it? Last week I said I got a shovel and I'm digging. I guess I'm just digging down deep.
Well, and I guess also another thing too, it got me when I was reading it, was we're reading it in a text thing, so we don't know the emotions that was given or how it was dictated. It kind of reminded me yesterday, and these guys planning a wedding with my fiance's father. He sent me a text. When I first read it, I was like, who the heck do you think he is? But then when I read it and stuff and realized he was joking and stuff, but at first I was like, who does this guy think he is? Like, and same thing like with the Gene, with the quote, we don't know, like you said before, but even just how it was delivered.
So, Alex,
That's different.
you just gave me an opening there by saying that. The KissFAQ community would like to congratulate you
Oh,
and
thank you.
wish you and your beloved
Oh my god.
the very
Thank you.
best.
Thank you.
So, bravo.
Thank you.
Now let's get back to Gene.
I'm going to be Bagman.
You know, G and Paul were in Texas the other day opening another restaurant together.
The day
Yeah,
before.
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shit,
So-
they didn't talk to each other, I guess.
Apparently not. You know, apparently it's going to be one of those Kiss stores this summer that we've seen in the past where they don't interact with one another on stage at all, and are just kind of going through the motions but not interacting with each other. But I thought it was interesting that they were, you know, together obviously for business function, and I wonder what, if anything, was said to one another about those comments, because those comments that Gene made had already been made public.
Oh,
prior-
yeah, totally. Those
To that,
those actually came out on the 10th in
Correct.
Newsweek. So, you know,
so I mean, Paul had to have been aware of it.
yeah, and last night they were at the Las Vegas movie screening together. Oh God, I mean, that must have been like
It had been a little
So
awkward.
good.
a later day Sonny and what is it? Sonny and Cher. You know, to think back to Paul's comments about that. Let's put the Rock Hard video. When he said he looked like Cher. So
Right.
if you think of how well that couple got on, you know, it must be a very cold room last night when they're watching that video.
Been a little awkward.
Yeah, there was some other comments. I don't know if you saw that, but I think Nikki Sixx
Yeah.
had chimed in on it, and
Yeah, he's no longer his hero.
With him chiming in, and then who is it? Sophie. Sophie tweets Simmons chimed in saying,
Everybody's waiting for her
why
opinions.
every
That's
time
good.
my dad says something stupid, does Nikki Sixx have to say something about it? You know?
Did she attach a picture of herself half dressed in order to?
Unfortunately, no. But
You
That was a
know,
little disappointing.
you know when it went back to the Shannon that you couldn't read the emotion. I mean, maybe these guys need to buy a Black China or a Kim Kardashian emoji set so that we can really understand their emotions when they're posting. Because I want to go to that Nikki Sixx one, and you know, if there's two people I really dislike for being analogs of Gene Simmons, Gene Simmons is a unique. He's a one of a kind. He's ours. We're Kiss fans. He is our Gene Simmons. He's our idiot without a filter. Nikki Sixx is just a poor copy of that, and so is Blackie Lawless in my book of rock stars. And notice how they're all bass players.
that's interesting.
That's food for thought. But Nikki comes out and says Gene Simmons' recent heartless and uneducated remarks about Prince's death shows why he's not my hero anymore or anybody's. Hashtag from hero to zero. Okay, American Zero. Or was it American Time Bomb? But whatever, Nikki. You know what? That's just a load of shit. That's just someone who's still clutching at Gene Simmons' coattails, trying to get attention.
Still wants to be Gene Simmons at the end of the day.
He's still a wannabe Gene Simmons. You know, I've got a great deal of respect for Nikki, though it doesn't
Sorry,
show
yeah.
in anything I've just said. But
I really like Nikki, but don't get me wrong, he still wants to be Gene Simmons at the
yeah,
end
he
of the day.
still totally wants to be Gene Simmons. And, you know, Nikki is equally guilty of having stupid twits or tweets or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
It's a twit. You can say twit, 'cause that's what it really comes
yeah.
to.
Who are the people that tweet a lot? Twits. Okay?
Twit, exactly.
You know, just think of what Nikki was saying recently about writing was a challenge. It wasn't any fun with John Corabi on the MC94 album. You know, he was insulting that album, insulting Corabi. And,
Best time you ever wrote.
you know, yeah, and Krabby rightfully just blew it off and said, yeah, whatever. You know, that's why Krabby is cool and Nikki, hey, Krabby is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
But if
think
you meet Corabi, he'll sit and have a beer with you or something. He's really,
Yeah,
you know.
he
go
called
to the strip club.
Nikki called Gene heartless or something. I know that Gene's not a heartless person, just based on history
But
and
read
the
the
things he's
previous quote
done
he said about
for
Prince.
people. But he just has comments. He has convictions about certain things, which is like drugs and alcohol, and it's so deep with him that it kind of gets muddled with, and he doesn't think about, you know, these people that, you know, fell into it not on their own doing, where they wanted to take the drug just to take the drug because they wanted to get high. There's people that didn't want to take the drug, or did take the drug because they just wanted to relieve their pain. They didn't want to get high or do anything like that. It just, took its toll, and he needs to be aware of that. And but his conviction on the whole subject is so strong that things just come out wrong. That he's, if you had any kind of drug, if you died of a drug, you were pathetic for some reason, and that's not the case. I don't think he really meant it that way, but it's just pathetic, I guess. That it's pathetic that he says these things. On the other hand, so I don't know where to go from there.
It's pathetic that Prince is dead. And I don't think anyone would question that sort of comment. Gene does not get drugs. He doesn't get alcohol. Being British with a heavy dose of Scots and Irish in me, alcohol is part of our culture. So
as Julian and I sit here drinking beer over the show.
Yeah, but... let's talk about painkillers and alcohol. I've already told you that I have extremely bad back pain.
Yeah.
Tonight, because I'm having a beer, I can't have painkillers. It's as simple as that. I have had to watch how many hours it has been since I have taken anything, because painkillers do have an effect on your body. I have made a conscious decision that I'm going to be in pain so that I can have a beer. Go figure. To Gene's probably going, "You're just a frickin' idiot." No, you don't need a beer. You don't need the painkillers. Well, Gene, have you ever taken an aspirin? Because it easily escalates on from that depending on the sort of pain that you are experiencing. Have you had cancer? Do you know what it's like to experience the pain that is associated with childbirth, Gene? No. So... it's ignorance on his part. I don't think he lacks empathy as much as he really does not like to see what the end result of abuse of drugs and substances is. Alex.
Yeah, I feel the exact same. I remember having my wisdom teeth taken out, oh gosh, almost 6 years ago. And I remember it was December. It was December of 2010, and so it's cold back in D.C. And the Vicodin would just make me sweat. I was so hot. So I was outside, walking in shorts and a T-shirt and stuff. So I'm sure everybody in the town knew that I was on something at that moment. But I didn't like it. I didn't like how it made me feel and stuff. But like you, to be like a public service announcement, but for those, if you're on it, be responsible and stuff, but at the same time, we don't know how everybody feels. I know, being up here at the school I go to, BYU, Idaho, and stuff, there's, in Utah, they've been talking about, pornography being an issue and stuff. And one of the things they talk about is you have these people that go, pornography's bad, don't do it, and if you're doing it, stop it, it's not good for you. And it's been interesting because you've had people who've come out going, you don't know what it's like when you become addicted to it. I know, and there was a great video where the person was going I know it's bad for me. I know I shouldn't be looking at it, but I need help getting out of it and stuff. And it's the same thing with any addiction and stuff, I feel bad for those who get addicted to something, and we should, obviously with Gene, be a little bit more empathetic with them and empathize with them. And realize that, they do need help, and, not being so critical or harsh to them, but trying to be a helping hand, I think. And I think that's what a lot of people are probably looking at Gene in a sense, going you should have been nicer. And yeah, we don't know, we don't know with Prince, we don't know the full details and stuff, but we don't know the full struggles that this person's have gone through. So. But
again, we get back to us as Kiss fans versus, say, the lay person or the Prince fan who was reading the Newsweek article, who doesn't know Rock and Roll All Night from, let's put the X in sex, or doesn't care. doesn't know that Gene Simmons is not a nasty human being.
Yeah.
Simple as that. That, you know, he's very narrow in his focus, unless it's accidentally eating hash brownies, right, Gene? Or is that story bullshit? Simple as that. You know, Gene, did you or did you not ever eat a hash brownie accidentally? Would be my question before you ever go on and say that you've never done drugs. Never willingly done drugs, perhaps.
Right.
If that is the case, that, you know, it's been documented in print, you know, and I don't believe any of those books or magazines that published those stories were sued, which, if that was the case, one would expect so. So, you know, again, we get back to there's no malicious intent in what he says. He just has a very narrow focus, and I guess that makes it all Ace's fault.
And
Peter.
a nice segue, Julian.
Yeah, I don't know
Speaking
if
of Ace.
Yeah, you know, I want to wrap up this this part of our kind of our show this week. One thing that bothered me that Shannon did say was that she says, and I'll read the quote here: "You can't apologize for someone else. It's not up to you. He feels the way he feels. He would never do that to you. Never." Two parts to this. Can you apologize for someone else? I say yes, you can, and you should. You should have that person's back to the point where you do damage control. Yes, it's a little bit political, and it's self-serving. It's Paul Stanley's self-interest to apologize on behalf of Kiss, because if someone thinks of Gene Simmons, they're likely going to think Simmons Stanley, just like you're going to think Joe Perry, Steven Tyler, Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, etc., etc. So yes, you should apologize for someone else. You are your brother's keeper.
No, yeah, I fully agree. I remember I had a mission companion that had a terrible filter, and we were at a meeting one time, and he was just goofing him out with somebody, and he was talking. He said to this girl, "You're the reason why pharmaceutical companies make antidepressants." It turns out this girl is on antidepressants. And so it turns out the girl is on antidepressants, and I remember looking over you've got to be kidding me. Did you just say that? And so I remember later that evening we went to the family's home, and I was like, we've got to go apologize. And he's like, I don't know why you got to apologize for me. I was like, because we're a team, we're a companionship, and we work together and stuff. And the family, luckily, they were so gracious and kind, and they forgave us, and they forgave him and stuff. But I remember oh my goodness. But sometimes with him, he probably didn't think nothing of it, that what he said might have been offensive or anything. And so, coming in almost a situation, it was good I went over there and at least kind of tried to smooth things over and stuff. So I agree with you, Julian. Sometimes you got to apologize for your brother.
Yeah, it's easy to hurt someone's feelings. I say it takes a bigger person to walk it back and to try and make a situation right, regardless of whether that situation can ever be made right. At least you will have taken the steps. But would Gene ever do this to Paul? And is that really what kind of the crux of all of this is that Paul Stanley will throw Gene under the bus?
I think Gene would have just left it alone if Paul would have said something. I think it's more Gene's style that Gene's just,
I agree.
He just kind of just lets things go. Gene's worried about Gene Simmons at the end of the day. He's not worried about if Paul says something all right, if Paul thinks that's fine. I don't, if Paul would have said something negative about Prince and Gene didn't feel the same way, I think Gene would have just let it go. I really, honestly and truly did, because Gene's worried about Gene at the end of the day. And that's not a slam on Gene. That's just, it's my opinion, that's how he is.
Is Shannon Yoko?
No. It's been around too damn long to be Yoko.
Oh.
I think Shannon was just being a good wife, sticking by her husband, give or take. And I mean, I don't know. I look at it, I guess for me, and I mean, some of you guys have me on Facebook, so I try to keep my posts professional and at least uplifting and stuff. And I guess even on my stance, I'm like, really, you guys are going to fight over Twitter? Come on, like he's mentioned, like call somebody and stuff. If I had been, I don't know, if I was Shannon, I probably would have called Paul up and said, hey, I really didn't appreciate you throwing my husband under the bus out there on social media, and not have had a Twitter war. But I'm not Shannon though, so
Yeah,
that's
but
how I would have done it.
yeah, and again, it should have been the guys talking to each other. It should never have had to involve Shannon. And I slipped up and wrote Sharon the other day, thinking of Ozzy. But there's also kind of the suggestion that this might be a media stunt in some way. I got to say, if it is, it's got to be one of the most ill-conceived media stunts possible that doesn't do anything to assist the band, and that
it's not helping anyone.
No, if you look at some of the other changes that have recently occurred to Kiss's online presence, notably on Facebook, with their now, we're going to share with you completely unrelated memes.
Yeah, what's that? I thought they got hacked the other day.
Yeah. Complete clickbait shit. I got to say this. From a social media perspective, they are receiving some extraordinarily poor advice if that was indeed a publicity stunt in order to get themselves on TMZ, because the readership on there is just not going to fucking help the cause, guys. Simple as that. Not going to help one bit. Oh, and
it's not going to help sell or, as we mentioned earlier, not sell tickets this summer.
Freaking catalog doesn't sell anyway, so who's kidding who? So they know that they get
right.
They get
and it's not going to help ticket sales for the tour this summer at all.
No,
not in those.
No effect.
Not in those markets.
No, it's not going to make someone in Topeka, Kansas say, "Hey, I want to go to the Kiss show when he comes to town." No.
So, in all of this, we've kind of forgotten. Happy birthday, Eric Singer.
Eric Singer's birthday today.
58.
58. You can believe that.
Damn, Eric Singer.
He's supposed to be the baby in the band. He's 58.
I think Tommy's the youngest, right?
56 or
I think Tommy's
the youngest.
56 this year.
Yeah, I don't know. There are, it's just time obviously moves on. So let's get into today's real topic, and this was Lonnie's idea. Should Japanese girl band Baby Metal open for Kiss? Sorry.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, just kidding on that, What was the topic supposed to be? I thought
it was supposed to be
Paul Stanley.
It was Ken's idea, actually.
It was originally going regarding Ace, the rumors about Ace.
The rumors about Ace Frehley potentially rejoining the band. And it's a total what if. But
yeah,
it's total what if. I mean, Tommy's been in the band since 2003. It's not like it's 2005 and we're like, okay, well, this experiment didn't work. We're bringing Ace Frehley back. It's 2016. Tommy's been in the band since 2003, but rumors keep flying constantly about, Paul and Ace did the song together. They did the video together. Are they healing? Time heals all wounds with Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley, and Paul Stanley maybe, everybody hears that Paul Stanley is the one who really calls the shots as far as the band goes. And is it time to bring back Ace Frehley? We could all get to see the lineup that we didn't get to see back in 2001 of Eric Singer and Ace Frehley, which is the lineup I really wish I could have saw. But
yeah,
what are your guys' thoughts? What if that would have happened? What would you guys think? And how do you think that Kiss could pull it off?
Well, I guess I'll go. I think he could pull it off, or they could pull it off. It would have to be like one last tour. They're going to go out one last tour, and he comes back, and maybe Tommy Thayer, hey, maybe he's sitting good, and he has other things he wants to do in life now. Maybe he wants to retire from Kiss.
Maybe he wants to produce the home video of the tour.
Yeah, so, again, it's hypothetical, but they could do it, and I don't know, would they wear the makeup still? Would Ace have to get back in a little bit more shape, like they tried to do back in 1996.
We'll see if Batman in spandex. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Celebrity Fit Club. That'll be a couple seasons worth.
So I don't know. I mean, sure, I would be receptive to it. I would love to see Ace back. Nothing against Tommy Thayer. Tommy Thayer's done a fantastic job in this spot. But I think Ace would be fantastic coming back for one more, just the last go around for the fans. I guess I would say it would be for the fans. Of course, I think it would sell more tickets. I definitely would sell more tickets. People that discount Tommy Thayer, those people would probably come back out in droves. So, yeah, I'd be receptive to it, and I hope it happens somehow. But then there's going to be the Tommy Thayer people who love Tommy Thayer, and they're going to say, "Well, we don't need Ace back." So you can't win anyway. But
so they're going to lose 6 ticket sales.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I'll let me just say that real quick. Is that there's people, and we've all seen them on the FAQ or wherever, that are like, well, no, I prefer Tommy Thayer in the band. Don't give me that load of shit. I'm sorry. I like Tommy Thayer. I've met him several times. He's very nice to me every time I've met him. But if I had my choice, it's okay, you can have Ace Frehley or Tommy Thayer and Kiss. What's your choice? I make the same damn choice every time that I want Ace Frehley in the band without hesitation. So I don't understand these people. And I like Sonic Boom. I like Monster. I like what the band has done since Tommy's been involved, But come on, don't tell me you'd rather have Tommy in the band than Ace Frehley. That drives me up the wall.
That's interesting because, Lonnie, you represent a time period of where Ace wasn't even in the band when you came on board. Mm-hmm. And you still want Ace back in.
Absolutely.
Where I come from a period where Ace was there when I started.
The original period. Absolutely.
And it's interesting that you would want Ace.
He's Ace Frehley,
or maybe
man.
Bruce Kulick, even.
Bruce Kulick. Bruce Kulick's the best, though. Bruce Kulick bought me a beer once. That was great.
Come on. In terms of Kiss, Bruce Kulick walks on water. Simple as that. I mean, he navigates the path of hate and love without
everybody loves Bruce
without anything sticking to him. Simple as that. I mean, I don't think I've really ever read of too many people disrespecting Bruce or not appreciating what he did. Yeah, there's the criticisms of his stage presence in his early days. So what? Everyone knows what he contributed and the stability he brought. So, Bruce just doesn't come into the picture. No one's going to be throwing sticks or stones at him. And if you are, then, you're banned. That's it. You're out of here.
You're out.
Alex, you go because I got to get myself ready for this.
Okay. I agree. I'm like Lonnie. I mean, who wouldn't want to have Ace Frehley back? It's Ace F and Frehley, and seeing the video, it was great. Would it be cool if they were in shape to do the makeup? Sure, why not? I wouldn't mind seeing them do without the makeup. I thought Ace and Paul looked awesome. Now, if they could get something to put on Gene's head to make him look cool and stuff for that tour.
That German helmet.
Because the Brillo pad isn't doing it, I'm sorry. No offense, Gene. I think you're great, but you gotta look cool too. I mean, Paul and Ace look cool, and we've seen some of the videos of Gene where they do the stuff without the makeup, and he just kind of off to the side, playing the bass. Yeah, with the little handkerchief and stuff, they're cool again. But yeah, I think it would be cool. It'd be fun. If they could patch things up, if they do the last night or whatnot, I think it'd be kick-gay if they did, if they do a last tour, and then the last night, if they finished off in New York City or something, and even be cool and have Peter and have all the guys come out, Bruce and stuff, do Rock and Roll all night like they did on Unplugged with all 6 or 7 of them and stuff, and call it a day. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want Ace back with the group, I mean, I think you're drinking some different kind of Kool-Aid. Because it'd be way cool and it'd be fun and exciting, and nothing against Tommy. I love the contributions Tommy has brought to the band. Tommy and Eric both I mean, you look at the set list since 2004 all the way up with the Kiss cruises and stuff, and you got to thank Tommy and Eric for bringing those obscure tracks to the forefront. And so that would be like my only negative thing if they had Ace. And I don't think it would be much of an issue, but hoping they have still a pretty cool set list and stuff. Maybe have Ace sing Out of This World. Not just kidding. Don't do that.
I love it.
Oh my god.
But yeah, and I will say this: I think they need to get Bruce for the Kiss cruise. Bruce on that little sail away show. That's my other piece.
All right, here I go. The Ace Frehley returning to Kiss as a result of Paul's appearance in his Fire and Water video. You guys do remember that Paul only did that because Ace couldn't reach Gene, right? So all of this kind of coming together of Paul being the second choice. I couldn't get Gene, so I call Paul. Paul does realize that, right? That, all this cool stuff that's coming out of Fire and Water was really because he couldn't reach Gene. Okay? Let's just make that very, very clear. Ace coming back to Kiss because of that, I just don't see it happening. I don't see it being healthy for Ace. No matter what the situation is, the toxic relationships still exist. And I just don't see Ace being able to be healthy or wanting to risk his sobriety by going anywhere near Gene and Paul on a working level again, except for maybe the last show that Kiss ever does as a one-off thing. Would I like to see Ace back in Kiss? Hell yeah. Simple as that. I've seen him with Kiss enough times that I know which guitarist I prefer. As much as I think that Tommy does a great job, and it's no disrespect meant to Tommy. Does it make any sense? I think yes, it does. We get back to the band is currently gearing up for a B market tour with promoters that are not AEG or Live Nation or blah 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 or anyone that's really high level. Would Ace bring a marquee value to that touring arrangement? Without a doubt. I think it's rather sad that we're not talking about Peter Criss in this equation as well, because unfortunately I don't think people have the same respect for Peter musically or in any sense of respect towards Peter, and I think that's very sad when we think about the originals who built the band, that everyone's clamoring for Ace to get back in the band and replace Tommy, and we're not saying the same for Peter. That's very sad. When I was listening to some Alive bootlegs the other day, and Peter Criss in all his majesty was a fantastic thing. So Peter kind of brings it on himself. We're not hearing anything about new music from him. He's not active. He's not just released a cover CD of his influences. So
isn't he almost 71 though too?
He is.
Throwing that out there.
Yeah, but Charlie Watts.
We thought Peter was old when he was 58 when he was Eric's age too.
Yeah, but I would say that Peter's probably in better shape nowadays than he was, but I don't think he has the hunger in him to do the sort of things on any sort of level other than the kind of comic cons that he occasionally appears at, and continuing and continuing to raise attention towards the breast cancer walks, which he does religiously. So, to both him and Gigi, more power to you that you continue to forge your own path. I just find it sad that Kiss fans don't freak out and say, it's not like the Blues Brothers, we're getting the band back together. Well, except for Peter Criss. It just...
you don't hear the people clamoring for when are we going to get Peter back in the band? When's Peter coming back? You never, absolutely never hear that at all.
And you can understand why people clamor for Ace, because right now he has quite a decent level of visibility. He's just gone through an all-out press push for Origins. He's done a fantastic job on the amount of work that he's put into promoting an album that's probably going to sell less than 50,000 copies all told in the U.S. is very impressive, and I'm very proud of the kind of dedication that he's finally starting to bring to his professional career, albeit far too late in the day to actually mean anything and to matter a damn thing. Simple as that. Do we put him back in the space boots? I would love to see him back on stage with Kiss. Simple as that. In makeup, I don't know. I don't think I would want to see them in makeup. When you look at him and Paul in the Fire and Water video, I think they look fantastic as they are, representing what they are as elder statesmen now, as legends, as Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not rappers. So,
I think that if you brought him back, and this is totally a what if, and so hypothetical anyway. If you did bring him back, you'd have to put him in the makeup. I mean, that's the whole. I mean, I don't know. That's the whole thing is Ace Frehley in makeup with Kiss. I mean, Ace Frehley's never done a show. He did Unplugged, the only show he ever did without makeup and Kiss. So, I mean, and it could give Kiss that push that they maybe need at this point to do a major market tour of the United States next summer. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a reason why they're doing secondary markets this summer, and not through, I think Julian mentioned, not through Live Nation. And I like your shirt. There's a reason why. There's one reason why, Alex, is because a lot of people in the major markets are going to spend I have X amount of dollars I can use for entertainment for concerts this summer. Well, I haven't seen that band in 20-something years, so that's what I'm going to go see. But I think that bringing Ace Frehley back could give them the push that they need to play those major markets next summer. Because and we've said it before though. What's the draw to go see Kiss this summer? I mean, yeah, it's a Kiss show, and it's always fun, but is it going to be any different than the last time I saw Kiss? Than maybe switching out one or two songs. But if you bring back Ace Frehley, well, there's a little more intrigue of why the casual fan might want to go back and check them out again.
Especially a Gene, Paul, Ace, and Eric Singer lineup too, which was only a handful of shows. So I'd be stoked to see it.
Yeah.
Julian, you're shaking your head.
I don't think. Yeah, I'll just say that. Yeah, it's going to add more ticket sales, but I think they're going to have to do one of those, get a very good opening band.
It would have to be again, unfortunately.
Like Judas Priest, something opening for them to solidify those sales too, and go back into the bigger market that way.
It's the only way you're going to do it.
Yeah, because with their current opening, and Caleb and
look at him, he's yawning.
And so on.
Sorry to bore you, Alex.
Is that
Sorry to bother you.
I've been up since like 6 a.m., guys.
6 a.m. How do you do it, Alex?
I don't know how they do. It's so tough. 3 hours of geography, for real.
Yeah, pretty soon it'll be welcome to the real world.
You didn't take your afternoon nap. You got to take your afternoon nap.
I haven't had it yet. Just have to tell the Tubbies.
So, going back to this, Ace would be great. They'd have more ticket sales, but not enough for the A market, I don't think. It would have to be a full-blown reunion to do something like that. Otherwise, they're going to have to get, like I said, Judas Priest or Alice Cooper or something opening for them to boost those sales.
Well, did you read that?
The band back together.
Yeah, Alice Cooper. Yeah,
he's getting the band back together.
Yeah.
For the original?
Yeah. For like an album, I think, right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see that.
So is that now a confluence of perfect things starting to come together? That Alice Cooper possibly recording with the original. Which original? Are we the original? The original, or with Alice, there are so many different bands.
There are so many different lineups,
and there are so many of the Alice Cooper band guys who are gone. So
right,
as original as he can get. I don't know.
Dunaway?
Dennis Dunaway. And I'm just not well versed enough
I
on,
can't remember all the names.
on the
Yeah, there was a Michael Bruce or something, and I can't remember. So I'm not on top of those names.
the pre-Bob Kulick guys. Because
Mm.
didn't Bob save Alice Cooper as well as saving Kiss? So
we could do that for another show.
That's
so whatever the case is, does this all come together in 2017 for kind of a final hurrah that you finally get an Alice Cooper and Kiss package together? Now, as much as I like Judas Priest and I know they're working on a new album, I would much rather have Alice Cooper and Kiss.
The dream package.
That'd be a good one.
It's kind of the package that has to be done before all things are said and done. Before Gene. We talked about Peter Criss being old. I'm sorry, Gene. How long can Gene continue to be the demon? Realistically.
Oh yeah.
Before it just becomes too much, or.
Well, he doesn't even wear the makeup around the eyes anymore.
Maybe he needs a hip injury to really bring it home and have to take some painkillers to,
Oh my gosh.
That's harsh, and I want to apologize for that in the context of where this conversation started today. But Gene has soldiered on, and he's still older than Paul.
Mm-hmm.
So how long can he continue to do it? So the Alice Cooper thing would be very appealing. Alice has it much easier, even though I think he's Gene's age. What's he, 1947? So
yeah.
He doesn't have as much of a physical kind of role on stage.
It's not a physical show for Alice.
Even though he is busy and working and doing the presentation and the acting and all that. So
he's not wearing all the gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, he doesn't have to spit fire and wear all that shit and the makeup and be under the flames and be dragged around in a harness. So he just has to pretend to guillotine things.
Right. That is the dream package, though. For me, anyway.
With Ace.
There you go. I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be great if they did, somehow bring Ace back to some kind of capacity. And let's be honest. I mean, you mentioned Julian, like for one last hurrah. I mean, how many more tours do they really have in them? I mean, the window is closing. So, I mean, doing secondary markets this summer, I think is just. It's great, but I mean the window that Kiss has isn't wide open anymore, and
no, it's only open a crack, and doing those big markets is only really keeping the band name alive.
Correct, because there wasn't a tour for mid-major markets this summer.
No, it keeps the name out there, and they're doing something. They're going to be impressed. It's going to be covered in the major markets, close to those minor markets. So,
sure,
Kiss played, I can't even think of some B markets off the top of my head. So, Kiss played Binghamton. All right, there's the only one I can come up with.
Toledo is playing
Sheboygan or whatever.
Boise, Idaho.
Boise.
They're a fan of Boise.
Fargo.
Are you going to that, Alex?
No, I got wedding stuff to plan. So.
Oh yes.
And it's like Boise from here is like 5 hours away, and I've got school. I think it's a Thursday night too, so I would have to ditch school on a Thursday, go to the show, drive back overnight, and be ready to go to class the next morning. No.
No, I mean, I even looked at, I was like, okay, what's close to the Bay Area? I'm like, okay, that's pretty close. Okay, this is America. That is not actually very close. One has to fly. Okay, how much does it cost to fly? Okay, how much is hotel? Okay, time off work? Okay. What's the kid got? So it just all adds up. It's impossible for me to go down there.
But I mean, like you guys said, I really think just they've got this tour. If they did something with Ace, and that's it. I got to see Queen's Ride a couple weeks ago with my dad.
Which one?
They get to call themselves Queen's Ride, so it's got most of the guys in the band, minus the singer.
Oh, the one without turnip head.
Yeah, so not Jeff Tate's Queen's Ride, but it was at a casino in a little north of Pocatello, Idaho. in like the convention room. And I mean, it was a cool show and it was sold out and stuff, but you know, I don't want to see Kiss end up ending their career doing that kind of stuff. You know, I
Gene
think,
Simmons' Kiss.
yeah, or that, or playing a little convention like thing. It just, you know, I mean, it was cool seeing Queensryche there. You know, it was you know, a nice intimate show, but I don't want to see Kiss end up like that. I'd like to see Kiss go out, you know, and do one decent tour, you know, a bit bigger than what they've got this one, and call it a day. And you know, they get to at least end it with some dignity still left in them.
Dignity's far gone. Sorry.
I know, but I
They had their
have
face on Hello Kitties and bowling balls. Come
Yeah,
on,
I know.
dignity's up there.
So with Queens at Queensryche, did you stay for the bingo?
no, I left. I went to go see the girl. So
Yeah. So I don't know. I think people are reading far too much into this Ace thing.
oh yeah,
As Kiss fans are wont to do, we kind
Yeah.
of
It's still fun.
grasp at that straw.
it always it reminds me when people
I've been
go like,
grasping at it since 2003. So.
every time I hear this stuff, it reminds me of people that go like, look, I saw Guadalupe in my, you know, my toast today, and I'm like, no, I think it's just a burnt mark on your toast. It's nothing fancy. No offense to those who believe that. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it just always reminds me of that. Like,
I mean, we've been hearing about Ace coming back since, like, I remember, like, in 2006 when they did that Rock Honors thing in Vegas, and Ace, you know, did that thing with Rob Zombie and Tommy Lee and Gilby Clarke and that, and he did that God of Thunder, like, oh, maybe Ace is coming back in the band. You know, he's at the same gig that Kiss was at. And we've been hearing it for 10 years that maybe Ace is coming back. So
what's Scott Ian's deal on posting that sort of shit? Because isn't that where it all originates from?
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, that Scott Ian. Yeah, okay. I'm not even going to go there.
it's your guy, isn't it, Julian? Just kidding. Just giving you trouble.
I have one Anthrax album.
And the only other
is that
other
one too
thing-
many?
No, it's not, because it's I'm the Man, and that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, the only other thing is because Ace has said in interviews that, you know, he's open
He's
the
open
door's
to it, yeah.
open to coming back.
Yeah, but
But that's, you know, they have to ask him.
and then they sit down and look at the contracts, and he's like, ah.
Gets up and walks out.
Yeah, here, read this profit and loss statement.
So
All right,
Ace Philly had the makeup on.
you know, I think we're there. I think we've reached the
Yeah.
end
I
of this
think
one.
we're
We're done. All right, so we do thank you for listening. I think what we'd like to hear from people in a less angry manner than has been expressed in many places so far from what I've read on Facebook and also on the FAQ about the whole Shannon versus Paul Stanley thing is, you know, is Gene really like that? And I think Kiss fans need to know that we don't need to have his woman speaking for him to know what Gene really meant by any of that, and none of it was malicious. It was certainly ill-worded, and he walked it back, and I think it would have been nice to have Paul call Gene personally rather than blast it out on Facebook or Twitter or whatever the hell it was. It all looks a bit sad and pathetic, so, you know, we've got threads on this, so come over and join those threads. You know, let's put on the theme song to Neighbors for the Aussies, or something really happy families for happy days for the Americans. It's the only thing that comes to mind. You know, and hope that Gene and Paul can get back on the same page with one another. But I think with them being, you know, colleagues, partners for 45 years, that they have no problem getting over this. It's just going to be a shrug, maybe a little bit of a cold shoulder for a little bit, because, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Gene is hurt by being blasted by Paul publicly when he could easily have made that phone call. I'm sure Paul is equally hurt that Gene just continuously seems to take what was a fantastic statement at the beginning of the whole Prince thing and turn it on its head. I mean, he does have a habit of doing that, but he's just being Gene. So I said it before, there's no malicious intent in any of this. So, as Kiss fans, I think let's try and move past this. It's just more drama for the TMZ crew. And think about Ace Frehley. So let's get that topic going. Should Ace really take this opportunity to rejoin the band? Should Gene and Paul really say now is the time? And, God damn it, should Peter be a part of the question? So, you know where to find us. We're on Facebook. We're on, obviously, KissFAQ.com. Alex, good to see you again. Now get back to planning your wedding.
Thank you.
And be good at school so that you can.
I will. I will too.
Yeah, be good at school so you can afford a wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
So that you get a good job and afford a wife.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You said it.
She's a nurse already, so we're good.
so you're
So
set.
we're good.
Yep.
Got a life of sitting on the couch ahead of me.
Make sure she joins the CNA union.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's an RN.
Yep. I know all about the CNA. Ken, Lonnie, thank you both. Lonnie, next time you are it, I will take my day off.
Ooh, cats and dogs.
Yep. All right. So thank you everyone for listening. We will see you next time.
Thanks.
Thank you for spending time listening to the Kiss FAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the Kiss FAQ message board and discuss the topic we broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.